We're talking to a man who was in jail for about half of his life and then was released.
Have you ever met someone who's been to jail, or is that?
Off the top of my head, no. Not that I know of, at least.
You think it's important for society to help people who've been in jail? What do you think?
Yes and no. Depends on what you're in the jail for. Murder, stuff like that. I'm a little bit more inclined to let the justice system come down more harshly, but it really depends on a case-by-case basis.
There, have you seen, there's some good stuff there. So, we have Eddie Ellis with us today. Eddie is a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. He's learned how to survive. He's also had his principles tested. You don't really know what your principles are until they are tested. He speaks from an educated man's point of view. Educated not by books, but by experiences. He has experienced the United States prison system at its worst, which is pretty much all it is at. There are no good prisons. And he was incarcerated for 16 years, and he's now working for ex-offenders. We have a good class today, and we'll go around after you make your comments, Eddie. We'll go around the room, and everybody can ask you a question.
So I asked him, I said, what are you talking about? He said, nothing, don't worry about him. He faking. So this gun pulling thing happened 3 different times. 2 after that, and the 3rd time, I had a gun. He pulled the gun, I pulled the gun. I fired, he fell, I ran. 2 hours later, I was arrested and found out he lost his life.
Eddie, just tell us the year and month and where this happened.
1991.
1991.
Mount Pleasant area.
Over in Adams Morgan.
Adams Morgan area, yeah.
You at that time were how old?
16.
16.
Yeah. When I got found guilty, we got found guilty on manslaughter. And he sentenced us to 22 years.
22 years.
I actually did 15. Even though this guy had a gun, like I said, I won't minimize anything that happened. You know, like I've said to people before, I won't walk around with a picture with this guy's face on my shirt. I've apologized to his family. I apologized to my family, and I've forgiven myself. His family said they forgave me, you know, and I've moved on, you know, but no matter what I do in my life, me and this guy's life will be intertwined, you know, for the rest of my life. So the things that I do that's good and helping people is a reflection of both of us, you know, and I mean that in a very respectful way to him and his family, you know. So I don't really talk about that much because I don't want to draw his family into anything or kick up no unnecessary dust. So, but I just say that in a respectful way that what I do, I choose to do for myself first, for me first. But I feel like, you know, it's our lives are intertwined because of the situation that took place.
What is like your most, I guess, memorable or, I don't know, like the moment maybe that shocked you, or like, I don't know, I mean, so many years you wouldn't have a lot, but is there any specific day or moment that changed your, I guess, thought or something that impacted you maybe?
When I started getting a little older, I started seeing a lot of people that I know that came to jail with me that's gonna die in jail, literally. And I didn't want that. I really didn't want that. And I said, I gotta change. I gotta change. And I started to change the stuff that I was reading, the way that I started viewing life, viewing people. But I kept getting in trouble. And my mom was like, change your environment. I'm like, Mom, where am I going? You know, where am I going? And I was frustrated. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand. And she wrote me a letter. I know you can't change your environment. Prison changes people you're around. And I started changing people that I was around. And I started changing my life gradually. I know that my mother, you know, raised a better person than this. And I just wanted to do better, not for myself first. This actually was written to the president of American University. You know, and he said, I'm an undergrad student of business, and I'm writing to suggest that Eddie Ellis be considered as a strong candidate for an honorary degree in the spring commencement. Eddie, who is 32 and is an exceptional person who works with ex-offenders. He spent 15 years in prison. Eddie turned to violence at a young age due to social factors. Yet while in prison, he turned his life around in remarkable ways. Now he's trying to help others change their lives and avoid mistakes he has made. And this one, it's an interesting letter. You know, the young lady said her name. I was in a class that you talked to at Woodrow Wilson High School last week. And he said, at first, when I heard that you were coming, I was kind of scared. And lots of thoughts came through my mind, like, is he going to be scary looking? Was he going to do something wrong, like steal or something? To me, I think when I go into these classrooms and universities and wherever to speak, you know, I understand that I'm representing for these men and women that's coming home and that's still in prison. And also for, you know, some of the ones that's already home. So when I go in there, it's not a burden on my back. It's just something that I know I got to carry when I go in there. I got to represent. Even when people ask me stuff that I feel is disrespectful, you know, I'm going to answer them in an honest way, helping people understand that people do make bad choices and people can change, you know, and a lot of us do deserve to have a second chance. So because I've changed, I need to give back to the community and help people change their life and stay away from the stuff that I went through. So I'm not pressured to do it. I'm not under no parole conditions to do this. I'm choosing to do this because it's a part of my life and it's something I choose to do. So I just take it one day at a time, continue to try to do right.
This is my journey. This is our journey. This is a journey. This is a journey. This is our journey. This is our journey.
One person at a time. You know, you got to start with one person at a time. And if you help that person can help somebody. And if you help that person, the next person can help somebody. And I believe it just blossoms. But and it don't literally have to mean one. It can mean with one community at a time. It can mean one person at a time. One probation office at a time. You know, so one police force at a time. Because these people have to deal with us. They need to understand that we're human beings too. We've made some bad choices, but we still need to be respected and treated as such. You know, and my thing is I just want to start one person at a time. You know, and that one person I started with was with myself. So that's where it really came from originally. Me starting with myself and branching out. So one by one, that's where it's coming from.